Hello, everybody. Welcome to our incredible WA team call. And I'm really excited tonight to be introducing a fantastic friend of the Juice Plus Australia community, Dany Martin. And just a little bit about this incredible man. I was very fortunate to join this team, almost 8 years ago now. And he has been a fantastic support for this entire team for WA for a long time. Dany Martin is the man who really truly was one of the original people that introduced Juice Plus to Australia. We wouldn't be in this business if it wasn't for Dany Martin. Dany Martin is our upline, and he is from Louisiana in the United States. And he's a great mentor of most of us who have been fortunate enough to meet him in the US conferences or even here in Australia. And Dany's been in the business. Is it 27 years, Dany?
I'm in my 28th. Yep, that's close.
28 years in the Juice Plus business. So that's amazing. He is a national marketing director, obviously. He's a 100 club, but probably well over and above that. But he's just a beautiful human being that has actually given our team the most amount of love and support that we could ever imagine. And he's largely responsible for my growth. And I'm very grateful to you, Dany. But I am just going to introduce you and hand it over to you to do your magic and inspire this beautiful team.
Well, thanks, Natalie. It's great to be on here. And thanks to you guys for taking time out to be on with us here tonight. We're going to try to cover some things. I made some notes that I want to kind of go over a little bit, but you guys are just an incredible group there. I love you all to death, like family. Even those of you that I haven't met, because as Natalie said, you probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for someone that I know somewhere along the way there. But Natalie's very gracious in talking about my connection with Australia. I'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I want to start, for those of you who don't know me, and just how I got started in the business 28 years ago, back in late 1989, 1990, is when I started my journey with the company. And I did it just to make some part-time extra money, $1,000, $1,500 a month. I had gone through a divorce unexpected to me. I had a 1-year-old son. I was a single dad. And I wanted to be involved in that child's life. And I was working in the retail grocery industry, like a Kohl's or Woolworths or something like that you guys have there. And I was working lots of hours, 80, 100-hour work weeks, and 1 or 2 days a month off, that kind of thing. And I really I had no lifestyle, basically, and no free time at all. And so I had to make some changes. And this I saw as a way to be able to move out of that industry, hopefully eventually into something else. Never intended on this to be a full-time venture for me. But then I started realizing, as I started to build a business, that there was a time freedom factor here, and working from home and setting my own hours. And it was really not about the $1,000 or $1,500. It was really about spending time with that little boy. So that's kind of how I got started and moved along. Didn't move real fast in the business compared to you guys today, where you fast track or rocket to these different positions. I did not do that. It took me about 10 or 12 months to get to the sales coordinator level, which was the top commission level. Took me a little over 4 years, 4.5 years, almost 5 years to get to the national marketing director position. But we always built our business slow and steady. And I think you can build something on rock, or you can build it on sand. And when you build it on rock, it usually lasts a lot longer. So that's basically how we, got started and got into the business. My connection to Australia came back in the mid-90s, probably 95 or 96, when the company was looking to expand internationally. We were already in Canada and some European countries, but we wanted to expand, especially to an English-speaking country. Australia was kind of on the radar, and one thing led to another. I knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that we were able to help put together some people to launch our business in Australia and set up the offices in Newcastle and that type thing. People always ask, well, why didn't y'all set it up in a bigger city or somewhere else? And it was just where my contacts that I had that just happened to be where they lived. They lived in Newcastle, and so that's kind of where it was born. It was nothing planned out that way or anything like that. And so we started there and actually launched in 1998 is when we launched our business. Yeah. I unmuted. Natalie muted me back. Okay, I'm unmuted now. Maybe we got it. But anyway, when we launched there, one of the things that I said early on, I said, if this works out and we're able to open our business in Australia, New Zealand, and so forth, I'll do everything in my power to support that. Well, what I didn't realize is the very first trip that I made there back in 1997 or 98, whenever it was, I fell in love with you guys. I fell in love with the people. I fell in love with the country, the culture there. And so I started traveling there on a lot of numerous occasions. And now over the years, here we are probably 19 years later, I guess it is, that we've been there. I've probably made, 35 or 40 or more trips to Australia to visit with you guys. And one thing about Western Australia, it was kind of a little secret that was kept there. I went to Western Australia in one of my early trips, and I'll have to say I don't think I've ever been to Australia that I did not make it to Western Australia. I've always put that on my schedule to be there, along with all the other major cities as well. So that's kind of our connection here, and through meeting great leaders like Steve Coulter and Mark Dragon and Tamar and Brian and Hillary and then eventually Natalie several years ago and others, we developed like a family relationship. We really did. And from that, we've just had a bond that's inseparable among all of us and some of your leaders there. We've got great team. We've got great leaders there in Australia, especially your support team. And those people that I just named are part of your support team for most of you that are on here tonight. One of the things that our present founder, Jay Martin, when he started the company back in actually 1969 here in the U.S., he had a vision. And his vision was to build a stable and lasting company that would help as many people possible realize their dreams. And I think that still holds true today. And so what I want to kind of talk about a little bit here tonight on this call is building a stable and lasting business that'll help you realize your dreams. How do we go about doing that? How do we build a stable and lasting business? And I think there's a difference between building something quickly that withers quickly and building something solid. And again, your support team, your upline, your national marketing director team there, and there's many under Natalie Baldock and her team there. I could go into naming them, but I'll miss some of them. There's so many now today of the great leaders that you guys have, but they're building stable and lasting businesses, and that's really what I want to encourage you guys to do. And there's been confusion, I think, over the years. Back in the old days, I'll say back in the old days, let's go back anywhere from 10 years back from now. When someone sponsored you into business and we worked with you into business, you pretty much did what we said. You pretty much followed our lead. You listened to us. You did whatever we kind of taught you to do. And you know why we did that is because We didn't really have access to the internet and necessarily emails, and especially things like Zoom and GoToMeetings and the technology that we have today with the internet. What I have found that's happened over the years, especially with the internet, is a lot of times our franchisees come on board and there's so much information for them coming from all different angles and different people through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all the different avenues that are out there. And sometimes we get to a point where I find that our franchisees get stuck, or they freeze up, as I call them, because there's so much out there and they're trying to do everything that everybody's doing rather than sticking to what I call some of the basics in the business. And that's kind of what I want to focus on here with you guys tonight is if you've ever felt that way or you feel that way, that, I'm a little bit confused. I'm not sure, this team's doing this or these people are doing this or she's having success with that. That's what I need to be doing. And sometimes we try to do too many things and not focus on some simple things, and it kind of gets us off track. And I'm not talking just strictly about Australia. I'm talking about around the world, our team here and everyone else, everywhere else. And I feel that way, and it felt that way. A lot of times when we would go to conferences, for example, we would leave an international conference and sometimes feel like, well, maybe I'm not doing the right thing because this person over here, wow, they made NMD in a day and they're doing this, or whatever. And we start to look at those things and we start to compare ourselves to other people, and we get confused with what we're doing. So I want to touch on some basics here tonight that I really think that we all need to embrace and look at, in some cases getting back to. And talking about comparing yourself, one of the worst things that you can do in our business is compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to someone advancing through the system or compare yourself to what someone else is doing, because we all have different personalities. We're different people. We come from different backgrounds. We have different skills. And so if we stick with the basics of our business, in other words, things that all of us can do, then we tend to have more success. And the reason we have more success is because these things have been proven. So don't try to compare yourself to someone else. The only competition you have in your business is you. It's what you want out of it. It's what's on your dream board or what your goals may be. Mine was $1,000 or $1,500 a month starting. It didn't matter if someone was making $1,000 a minute. I just wanted to make $1,000 a month. So my competition was me, and I didn't need to compare myself with other people. The thing that we really have to work on a daily basis is focusing on high-paying activities in our business. And what would those be? It'd be things like, bringing on new customers, bringing on new team members, customer care, training our team, following up with our team, creating that culture. In other words, the basic things. High-paying activities is what we really should focus on and do the hardest thing first every day, meaning that we do those things first. Getting your office organized or getting your files straight or checking, watching some videos on the product. Those are all great things to build belief in ourselves and our business and what we do. But some of those things aren't high-paying activities. So focus on those high-paying activities every single day and plan that out to do that. One of the first things that I say, getting back to the basics, has to do with is building a customer base. You'll hear here in the U.S., and I encourage you there, but we talk about all the time, self-qualify or customer qualify your business. What does that mean? That means have enough personal customers yourself that you're qualified for performance bonus, your PB bonus in our business. Now, that's about 20 or 25 personal customers. So the first challenge I'll give you here tonight is look at your report. How many personal customers do you have? Not your team, but you personally. How many people do you have taking Juice Plus personally that you follow up with and do customer care with? We all should have that minimum of 20, 25, 30 customers. Now, I think you can get too many customers, at some point where you can't keep your arms around all of them and can't give them the care that they need, or you end up spending too much time on customer care and customer acquisition rather than building a team. But I think everyone could have 25 is a good number to look at. So look at that and focus on that. And if you don't have that, I challenge you to go back to the basics of building some more customers in your business. But you have to have that balance too. In other words, you can't just build customers and never bring anyone into the business. You can do that. You'll make some money. You make a decent income, but you're not going to build a huge team or a big business or a big organization by just customer acquisition. But by the same token, I see a lot of people flip to the other side, and all they want to focus on is team building, just recruiting. They don't want to focus on customer acquisition. Well, I think that's a mistake as well too, because you have to have that balance. So people that are just trying to team build, or just trying to recruit people into the business, you leave a lot of dead bodies out there. You sign a lot of people up, but you don't really have the time to spend with them to develop the relationship and move forward with them. So again, having balance in what you're doing as far as customer acquisition and team building. One of the things that I've always said with team building is, who in the world would ever be successful marketing Juice Plus if they didn't believe in the product, if they didn't think the product was great and didn't think the product was a superstar? If they didn't, they probably would struggle trying to build a business. So it gets back to our belief in the product, putting people on the product, people getting results on the product, and team building along with that. So try to keep that balance there, and work your warm and cold market both. Again, I lean towards warm market first. And what is that? That's just basically people that you know or have known or have some relationship with or had a relationship with sometime in the past. Look at your mobile phone address book. Look at your Facebook friends, although all of our friends, quote unquote, on Facebook aren't always real close friends of ours. But look at that's what I'm talking about with warm market, your email address book or whatever it may be. That's your warm market. That's the best place to go, because the bottom line is our business is really about relationships with people trusting and believing in us and what we're trying to show them from a health standpoint and a wellness standpoint. And so, that's the best place to go, is those people that you already have started that relationship with. Now, cold markets, you can work cold market, but you got to turn cold market into warm market. In other words, you meet someone out somewhere at a retail shop or at a function with your kids at a sports function or something. You can start to engage in conversation with that person, even though you've never met them before. You can engage in conversation with them and ask a few questions and learn to ask questions, and they can become warm market. In other words, you can get to know them by finding out a little bit about them. One of the great things that I do, people laugh when I say this, but my greatest opening line question for cold market is, are you from here? I just asked that question, are you from here? It brings up a whole lot of conversation. That, no, I'm not. Well, how long have you been in Perth? What brought you here? And if they say, yes, I'm from here, really, you've been here all your life, what do you do? That just opens up conversation. So you can take cold market and turn it into warm market very easily by developing a relationship with people. But I find today a lot of people are trying to do a lot of things on the internet with cold market and this, that, and the other. And guys, you may have a little success with that, but long term, a lot of times that does not last. It's kind of, Jay Martin, our president, founder of the company, he always says it's not about Facebook, it's about face look. We need to look at people. We need to talk to people and have a relationship with them to move forward and build our team. And what you do in building that team is you start small with your influence of people that you bring on. It could be 2 or 3 or 4 franchisees that you have, but you want to create a team culture. It doesn't matter your position in the company or how long you've been around. When you start to get a couple of franchisees coming on board with you, you're their sponsor. That's what we call you, a sponsor. You're sponsoring these people. You need to look after these people. So start to create that team culture among your team. Again, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 franchisees. And then from that, you probably have a national marketing director. All of you have some national marketing director above you in the business that you're part of their team. Then you put your small team, that culture, and you incorporate that into the bigger picture of that national marketing director team. And that could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be Natalie or, someone else above Natalie or myself, but there may be a national marketing director under Natalie that's part of your team. Well, you need to be a part of that culture as well. Then you need to be a part of the bigger team, of the Natalie Baldock team, of the Dany Martin team. In other words, there's a bigger community out there. So you're creating this small culture among your people, and then you're expanding that within the people that you have that are directly in your support team. And then there's a bigger family out there. And then from there, you have the company and the worldwide franchise base. What I'm saying about that is this. We have 2 international conferences here a year in the United States. You guys have one a year in Australia. You've got one coming up here in just a few weeks. Why do we do that? Why do we bring everyone together physically at the same place? Because it's powerful, guys. It's powerful and it works. And so what I'm trying to encourage you is start to create that team culture you have with that small group you have, bringing these people together. The internet's fine and Zoom is fine and all that. These are great tools that we have, but there's nothing like us being together. I mean, think about this. Think about having a family reunion with your family, with your in-laws, your cousins, your aunts and uncles, and you just do it on Zoom. Now, how effective is that going to be compared to maybe having a picnic somewhere, going to the beach, or having a get-together? The get-together is so much more powerful because you get to develop the relationship with people. You get to interact with people. So keep in mind, even though that we have this great tool called the internet, that we still have to mix and mingle and get together with people. If just this avenue was the greatest thing ever, then we wouldn't have to have conferences here. We wouldn't spend the money or time having those things. So I want you to understand how you can build that culture within your organization and within your team to build a bigger business and be a part of the bigger team and the bigger business and working together. If you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything that you want. And do something every day for your business, no matter how big or how small. Again, this is getting back to some of the basics. Do something every day. Do a high-paying activity at least once every day. And that doesn't mean, well, I'm just listening to or watching a video about the product or about the business or about the marketing plan. Again, those are great support tools, but guys, those aren't high-paying activities. What I mean by that is talk to someone about Juice Plus every day. Talk to someone about the virtual franchise every day. Do those things. Do the follow-up care on your customers and those things. Doing that on a daily basis, guess what? That will expand your business in doing that, and it keeps you involved. It's like going to the gym. The less you go, the easier it is not to go. Like anything, like a member of a club or going to the health club or gym or something like that. Our business is the same way. The less you do, the easier it is not to do it, because most of us, myself included, when I started, I didn't have to do this. I could have quit. I wasn't making enough money early on that, in my first few months that I can't afford to leave it because I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. So you have to stay involved every day in your business. So do a high-paying activity, at least one or more than one, every day. Incorporate this into what you're doing. Don't go out to work your Juice Plus business. Work your Juice Plus business while you're out. Do this while you're doing life. That's the best way to do it. And have fun with it. Smile. Keep it light. and have a good time. I mean, you can just do this anywhere, engaging in conversations with people, making phone calls, connecting with old friends and having coffee or lunch. There's so many ways to put yourself out there and do that while you're having fun and do it while you're doing life. You know, the other thing is a way everyone's as a national marketing director on this particular Zoom and part of this. I can tell you, every one of them built their business by doing events. Doing events is how they built their business. They did in-home events. They did coffee shop events. They did luncheons. They did dinners. They did salad in the jars. They did Zoom events and Facebook events. They did events. And I think today in our internet society, sometimes we've gotten away from, again, getting people together in a small group or in a group and doing these types of events. It's so much more powerful. Again, is it more convenient? No. This is a lot more convenient to dress how we want to dress and jump on a Zoom. But again, you don't just do one thing or the other. The thing about all the folks that are on here that are national marketing directors, listen, if you go back and talk to them, say, hey, what did you do when you started to build your business? What did you do? And you'll find that they did a little of a lot of different things, but they were all basic things. So in other words, if one person says, well, I did a lot of in-home parties in my home, or someone says, I did a lot of Facebook parties, or I did a lot of luncheons and coffee shop meetings and things like that. What's the common thread there? The common thread is they got people together and they shared Juice Plus and the Juice Plus virtual franchise with people. So those are high-paying activities, and I encourage you to do that. And if you're not doing some of these things, a variety of different things to attract a variety of different people, then get with your support team, get with your sponsor, and talk to them and kick some ideas and things around. There's basically three things we do in the business when it comes to events or getting together with people. One, we share our product line, the Juice Plus product line. And the way I do that is I look at Juice Plus as a company, not a product. I look at Juice Plus as a company that markets a line of whole food-based nutritional products. So I look at the Juice Plus company as a building, okay? It's a big building, and there's different doors to get into the building. Some people are going to come in the red and green capsule door. Some people are going to come in the red, green, and purple door. Some people are going to come in the complete door. Some people are going to come in the red, green, purple, and complete door. In other words, I have all these different doors. All I'm trying to do is I want to get them in the building. Once I get them into the Juice Plus building, or culture, if you want to call it that, then I can educate them maybe on other products and the other things that we have, and eventually possibly educate them on the franchise that we have. So you want to get them in the building. So the product is one thing. The second thing that we interact with people on is our business. We talk to people about our business. And here's kind of the way I go with the business. And maybe some of you don't want to hear this, but this is the way we've been able to build a very strong business. I don't bring up the business to someone unless they give me a hint to. In other words, basically, most of the time, I lead with the product. I'll lead with the product and follow with the business. So sometimes that's 5 minutes later. Sometimes it's 5 years later. It just depends on who I'm talking to. There's no set rule here. But if someone says they don't like what they're doing, they're unhappy, they're a single mom that needs more money or whatever, then absolutely, I'm going to possibly lead with the business of that person because they gave me that opportunity. But in most cases, when someone asks what I do, I talk about our product line. I talk about the Juice Plus product, the superstar that none of us would be here if we didn't have this incredible product with over 35 published medical studies on it. So we have that. The third thing that we talk to people about is within our teams, we have to teach and train. We have to teach and train others. And if we keeping what we do simple, then it will duplicate. Because duplication is very, very important in our business. The worst thing, guys, you can have any new person tell you that you're talking to about the business and you're trying to encourage them maybe to get their own virtual franchise, and they say, I just can't do what you do. That's the worst thing you ever want to hear, because that means that you're complicating it or you're too detailed with it. Keep it simple. It's fruits, vegetables, and berries in capsule or chewable form. What's complicated about that? Keep it simple out there when you're doing that. So we talk our product, we talk our business, and then we train. We have an obligation to train those that we're working with for them to have the success. People want to be a part of something today. People want to belong to something. As much as we've gone from, personal phone calls and visiting with people prior to technology, today, with all of the SMS and texting and messaging and emailing and all of that, that's all great. And it's great to communicate quickly and effectively and efficiently. But people still want to be a part of something. They still want to belong to something. So if you create this culture within your team and the other teams that I talked about as part of your support team, then people want to belong. They want to be a part of that. And so keep it fun, keep it upbeat, keep it lighthearted, and you'll attract people. I always say that the real true test of a leader, whether you're a leader or not, is how many people are following you. There's been some great leaders around the world that did terrible things, that killed people and beheaded people and slaughtered people. But they were great leaders. They led big groups of people, but they weren't doing good things as a leader. So to me, a leader, the real definition is how many people are following you. And then once that you have people following you, are you doing the simple things? Are you doing the right things so that they can duplicate that? You want to lead to leave. You want people to leave you as quick as you can and go out on their own and form their own team and form their own organization. And what I mean by that is although you're still part of that support team and support as part of who they are, you do want them to become independent. If you look at our franchise application, on the top of it, it says independent franchisee. It doesn't say dependent, it says independent. So we want people to become independent, but we also want people to still stay connected to the culture and to the bigger community of not only the company, but within the organizations that people are working within. So, what I want to try to challenge you guys here tonight with is, getting back to the basics, doing some of the basic things. What's interesting is these basic things that I was taught when I started 28 years ago are basic things that Jay Martin started teaching in 1969 and 1970, 47 or 48 years ago when he founded the company. Those basics, those principles still hold true today with building our business and building our culture. So I'm going to challenge you to step back and say, okay, what are some of the high-paying activities? What are some of the basics that I can get back to and not get confused, guys, by the thousands of things that we get hit with every day out there? Don't worry about what this one and that one and this one's doing. Take the bits and pieces of that. Take those gold nuggets of that from other people and then develop that into what fits you. What fits your personality? What fits your work ethic to be involved in the business and to build a team? And again, focus on those high-paying activities, not just activity. See, we can be very busy and very active in our business and never make any money because we're not doing the right thing. So you want to be active in the things that are high-paying activities for you when you do that. So I want to challenge you guys to master a few things. Don't try to master a lot of things, but take a few basic principles and master those and do those over and over and over every day that you get so good at them, it just becomes second nature to you. And then lastly, I would like to try to challenge you to work on you. See, the biggest obstacle that Dany had to get over in the business was me. I had to get over me. I was a mess. I really was. I had no confidence. I was an introverted person. I didn't go out and speak with people. I would say I would never speak in public. I would never speak in front of a room. This is where I was when I started. I had to work on me. I had to become a better person. I had to expand my box. You know, people say, well, you've got to think outside the box. You got to get out of your comfort zone. I wasn't comfortable getting out of my comfort zone. But you know what I was a little bit comfortable with and I could tolerate? I could tolerate expanding my comfort zone a little bit. I could expand it a little bit here, a little bit there. Baby steps, crawl, then start to stumble and walk a little bit, then jog, then run. So I'm going to challenge you to work on you, to become a better you. You need to be the best franchisee in your team. You need to be the best franchisee in your team. Lead by example. See, people watch your feet, not your mouth. They don't watch what you say, they watch what you do. And that's what good leaders do. Good leaders lead people by doing the basic things that would teach them how to build a tremendous team and tremendous organization. Love on everybody, believe in everybody, but don't expect anything out of anybody. But hold yourself accountable. Be accountable to yourself, because that's where I find most of us have to make that shift. The big shift I had to overcome is I had to get out of an employee mindset, because I'd been an employee for 17 years for a corporation before this, and I had to get into an entrepreneurial mindset. What's the difference there? It's very simple. Employees tend to wait for people to kind of direct them and tell them what to do. An entrepreneur doesn't wait on anyone. They just go do. They find the tools, they find the resources, they find whatever they need, and they go out and do it. And that was a big shift for me to make. You know, I had all the excuses in the world. It was my sponsor. It was the company. It was the product. It was the people. It was where I lived. It was the people I hung out with. I had all these excuses of why this wouldn't happen and that wouldn't happen. And most of it was right here between the two ears. I had to get over me. So I'm going to challenge you not only to get back to the basics and do high-paying activities every day and become a part of this big culture that you guys have. Guys, Western Australia, you guys have such a culture there. You have such a culture there. And I know some of you are not there, but you're connected to that culture. But you have such a culture there that you need to be a part of and plug into and be proud of what you guys have built and have with the support people that you have. The people that have made national marketing director and so forth before you, they've done it. They know how to do it. Go back and sit down to them and ask them, what did you do? Not what you're doing now, because they're there then now, but what did you do then? What did you do 5 years ago when you were building to national marketing? What were your high-paying activities? What did you do on a daily and weekly basis? And learn from the experience and the wisdom of these people to help you move forward. One thing, and lastly here, Natalie, and I'm going to throw this out here because I want to work with a few of the leaders there to put something special together for WA and for Western Australia in the coming months. And we're going to talk about that and talk about some things and keep you guys posted. I'm just going to leave it hanging there. In other words, tune in next week, right? It's like a TV show. But we have a vision for something that we'd like to do there in Western Australia, and over the next few months, maybe we'll be able to make that come to fruition and share that with you guys. So thanks for having me tonight and inviting me on, and hopefully that I've been able to share a few things and challenge you with a few things that will help you build. I want each and every one of you to get everything you want out of this. We want to meet you where you are. We don't want for you what we want. We want for you what you want. And if we can help you in any way do that, that's what we're going to do. But I want to challenge you tonight just to do some of these basic things to move your business forward so that it is built solid. It is built on rock, not sand, so that you and your family will have a tremendous future with this. Because for me, I watched that little boy grow up. And for me, this has been life-changing. You're looking at a guy that before this business had never been on an airplane before, ever. I never traveled like that. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up, very lower middle class poor. And so look at what this business, the lifestyle it's created for us and the changes it's made, not for just me and not for my family, but for my family's family, the generations of people to come. And this could have the same impact on you. Guys, you've got something here in your hands. You probably don't know what you have yet, but this can be life-changing for you. Take it serious, treat it serious, and have fun with it, and you'll be very well rewarded. And who you become on this journey might just surprise you. Natalie, that's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, Dany, thank you so much. It just brings it back to that simple message again. I'm just a bit overwhelmed, actually, because I'm watching the messages, and I think you've got something like 40 or 50 thank you messages. And I think this message is so simple and so beautiful, just to reach people face to face and heart to heart and go back to really healing people. And you know what, Dany, we wouldn't have this incredible community if it wasn't for you. You know, we really wouldn't have this beautiful heart because, you know, as a little girl, my dad used to always say to me, a fish rots at the head first. So if we didn't have you with a big heart, we wouldn't have a big-hearted team. So we just want to say from the bottom of our hearts to you, thank you so much for your time, and your wisdom is always so invaluable. And I think, you know, we're going to be pretty inspired after this call. So I'm going to take it off mute now. Off record now. And if everyone just wants to, you know,